morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Let's get to the calm. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Steve Smith here. We are live, hopefully, for Boris Johnson's Conservative Party 2021. Let me do that again. Boris Johnson's 2021 Conservative Party conference speech. That's a freaking mouthful. That's a real mouthful. And I've got one of those Nordic things in my mouth, which I probably should have stopped before I started the stream, but I just realised it's still there. It's basically like a nicotine thing. It's cool. You put it in your mouth, it tastes like mint. It's a revolution, but we're not here to talk about my disgusting habits. I'm here to sort my mic out. We're here to sort the mic out. Let's get up a bit so it's prepared for my rantage. And yeah, we are waiting for promo video. We've got a promo video already. So the speech is scheduled to start in 3 minutes time. Let me get myself focused here. I did this already, but the thing is I'm hyperactive. I move around too much.
I've just been to see Her Majesty the Queen earlier on, and she agreed to dissolve Parliament.
I like that we're getting a promo video for this. Very WrestleMania. But I mean, it's the Conservative Party. You couldn't think two things that are closer, more related to the Conservative Party and WWE. So there we go. So yeah, hopefully there's people watching the stream today. If not, well, it'll be available live, and you'll be able to watch this for eternity unless the Conservative Party try and nuke my video, which they won't, because I mean, this is journalism. This is their stream. This is what news companies do as well. I am a journalist. My name is Steve Smith. You can follow me on Twitter at Britannia. Oh, look at this. I've got an advert. You can watch my latest video, the Keir Starmer fallacy. If you look in the bio, you'll find a link for it. I've relaunched my political channel. It's got the amazingly unique name of Steve Smith Politics. The latest video, as you can see there, is the Keir Starmer fallacy. It is exactly what it says on the tin. I talk about Keir Starmer and the fallacy, which I'm not going to spoil because I think it is an important video. And I made the video not for people to... Oh my god, this promo video is terrible. We're going to get Brexit done. Yeah, they've got Brexit done, but they've ruined the UK in the process. So bye, Keir. Like, you were last week. Fingers crossed that this speech is not an hour and a half long like Keir Starmer's speech last week, or I might go insane. I might actually lose my head. There we go.
We have won votes and the trust of people who have never voted Conservative.
I don't think he's got the trust of anyone anymore. Like,
want change.
I'm going to try and take notes because I'm going to try and do like a wrap-up video on the political channel. I did intend for this stream to be on my political channel, and if you're watching this on my channel, because I know I've got some people that come back and watch these streams on my channel, which is awesome, but in the future I'm moving all the political content to the political channel, and I'm going to keep this channel for vlogs and wrestling and just me talking crap, you know. So if you want to watch future political coverage from yours truly, subscribe to the Steve Smith Politics channel, and that would be a great thing to do. That would help me a lot. So yeah, like, the Tory Party are streaming this on the... Oh my god. You should see the chat in the Conservative stream for this. It is insane. Like, you've got... It's just non-stop people talking about the Great Reset. No jobs, no votes for... It is amazing to see what sort of people actually follow the Conservative Party. Annoyingly, I had to subscribe to this channel so I could get a notification. Oh, why did they show her? That woman died. Oh, that's so terrible. She was the first person to get the jab, but I believe she died not long... Or maybe it was the man. It was a man. It was the first person that got the jab is now dead. That's the gist of that. So I don't have the chat on screen here either, which is, I don't know, it's probably a good thing, because I can imagine people just being angry at Keir Starmer. I really should have got my own channel on here.
Pandemic and build back better.
Build back better. He's not built anything back better in the slightest. It's such a fallacy. It's like, mate, you have not built anything back better. This promo's... Oh, we've got all heavy metal now. What? Why is it going all heavy metal now? This is a promo and a half. Like, let's just keep that on screen there while he's doing this. Oh, the boxing thing. We are now seeing an extraordinary recovery. No, we're not. The country is the UK is in total trouble at the moment. There's no jobs. It is insane how much they believe their own hype. It is so ridiculous. There we go, we're live. Oh my god, he's even got an entrance. He's actually having an entrance like he would in a boxing match. Oh. What the hell? He kissed his wife, that's Keir. She did a speech yesterday, can you believe? Now, apparently, Boris Johnson has his own auditorium for his speech. It's not the same the same room that they've been doing the other speeches in. Why? I don't know. But here we go. Boris Johnson live.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, you clown.
Good morning, everyone. Fantastic to see you all here. Thank you.
He's literally set up his own stage, which is like, wow.
Good morning, everybody. Listen, isn't it amazing to be back here in person?
Over his words.
And the first time since so many of you worked to defy the sceptics by winning councils and communities that Conservatives have never won in before, such as Hartlepool. And in fact,
Hartlepool.
It's the first time since the general election of 2019 when we finally sent that corduroy cosmonaut into orbit where he belongs. And why is it that we are back today for a traditional Conservative cheek-by-jowler?
We don't have cosmonauts.
It's because
the UK, we've got astronauts.
We've had one of the most open economies and
who's he talking about? Who's he talking about?
On July the 19th, we decided to open every single theatre and every concert hall and nightclub in England. And we knew that some people would still be anxious. So we sent top government representatives to our sweatiest boîte de nuit.
Talking about Michael Gove going to the nightclub in Aberdeen.
Safely. And
so that's what that was.
My friends, let's hear it. Let's hear it for John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi, what the hell? Oh my
living
god.
Proof.
I mean, he was dancing to techno.
You all represent the most jiving, hip, happening,
jiving,
party.
Oh my god.
And
jiving and hip.
We managed to open up ahead
of
so many
jiving
of
and
our
hip?
friends. You know the answer.
There's a comedy routine.
Rollout of that vaccine. A UK phenomenon, the magic potion invented in Oxford University, bottled in Wales, distributed.
We're talking about the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Centres everywhere. I saw the army in action.
That was this that people won't use.
Firing staple guns like carbines as they set up a huge vaccination centre.
Big laughs in the audience from the sycophantic Tory MPs.
Sewing machine. They vaccinated so rapidly that we were able to do those crucial groups 1 to 4, the oldest and most vulnerable, faster than any other major economy in the world. And though the disease has sadly not gone away.
Okay, so we're talking about the vaccine for the pandemic first of all. Get that cameraman out of the shot. God damn it.
The impact on death
God
rates
damn it.
has been astonishing. And I urge you all to get your jabs, because every day.
You mean there's people in that audience who do not have their vaccines? What the hell?
And everybody watching, you made this rollout possible. You made each other safer. So perhaps we should thank each other.
Told them to get their jobs, so they didn't.
Try it. I mean,
try it. Try the vaccine. Give it a try.
Try a cautious fist bump, because it's okay now. And we in turn thank the volunteers, the public health workers, the council workers, the pharmacists.
Oh, finally he helps
but above all,
thanks the health workers. That's good.
Untiring, unbeatable, unbelievable NHS.
Thanks to NHS. Okay, that's good. That's a positive thing. I like to hear that.
As a responsible Conservative government, we must recognise the sheer scale of their achievement, but also the scale of the challenge ahead.
You should be acknowledging that they deserve better pay.
St Thomas's Hospital last year.
Are they going to get better pay?
I looked blearily out of my window at a hole in the ground between the ICU and another much older Victorian.
How did he manage to look out the window when he was in ICU?
They seemed to be digging a hole. for someone or something, or indeed
We're digging a hole for someone.
possibly me. But the NHS saved me, and our wonderful nurses pulled.
I love
my
that he
chestnuts
somehow
out of
managed
that
to look out the window whilst in ICU.
I went back on a visit.
How does
the
that
other
work?
day, and I saw that the hole had been filled in with 3 or 4 gleaming stories of a new paediatrics unit. And there you have a metaphor, my friends, for how we must build back better now. We have a huge
There we
hole
go, build back
in
better,
public
that's one.
finances. We spend 407 billion.
I'm going to
pounds
keep a
on
count of
COVID
how much
support,
times he says build
and our
back better.
debt now stands at over £2 trillion.
£2 trillion
And the
debt.
waiting lists will almost certainly go up before they come down. COVID pushed out a great bow wave of cases. People did not or could not seek help. And that wave is now coming back. A tide of anxiety washing into every A&E and every GP.
Which is true.
Your hip replacement, your mother's surgery. And this is the priority of the British people. Does anyone seriously imagine that we should not now be raising the funding to sort this out? Is that really the view of responsible Conservatives? I can tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
Margaret Thatcher would not have ignored the meteorite that has just crashed through the public finances. She would have wagged her finger and said, more borrowing now is just higher interest rates.
Oh, so he's now
higher
trying to
taxes
justify not
later.
giving the NHS more funding.
When this country was sick,
Was Maggie
Our
Thatcher
NHS
really that
was the
brutal?
nurse.
I guess she was, actually.
frontline care workers battled against a new disease selflessly, risking their lives, sacrificing.
Yeah, they risked their lives, and you're not going to give them
right.
more money. They
This
need
party
more
that has
money.
looked after the NHS for most of its history should be the one to rise to the challenge. 48 new hospitals, 50,000 more nurses, 50 million more
48.
GP appointments, 40 new diagnostic centres.
Have any
and
of these
fixing
things
those
come into
backlogs
happened?
with
I don't
real
think they have.
change. Because the pandemic not only put colossal pressure on the NHS, it was a lightning flash illumination of a problem we have failed to address for decades.
Yeah.
In 1948, this country created the National Health Service, but kept
Yeah,
social
the
care
Labour
local.
Party created
And
the
though that
National
makes
Health
sense
Service.
in many ways, generations of older people have found themselves lost in the gap. When COVID broke, there were 100,000 beds in the NHS and 30,000 occupied by people who could have been cared for elsewhere, whether at home or in residential care.
What?
And we all know that this problem of delayed discharge is one of the major reasons why it takes too long to get the hospital treatment.
So now we're
that your
blaming
family
old people
desperately
being in
needs.
hospital
People
for
worry
hospitals being
that
in a
they will
mess.
be the
Just so
they
you
will
get
be the
that.
1 in 10 to suffer from the potentially catastrophic cost of dementia.
Like,
wiping out everything they
he's
have
going all over
and
the shop
preventing
with
them from
this.
passing on anything to their families. And we Conservatives stand by those who have shared our values. Thrift,
No, you don't.
hard work, and who face total destitution in this brutal lottery of old age, in which treatment for cancer
I mean, they
is
face
funded by the state
destitution because
and
you take all
care
their money
for
away from them. That was a Tory
Alzheimer's
Party
not
idea.
or only partly. And to fix these twin problems of the NHS and social care, we aren't just going to siphon billions of new taxes into crucial
No, we're going to
services
tax the
without
poor.
improving
We're going to tax the poor.
performance. We will use new technology so that there is
Oh.
a single set of electronic records as patients pass between health and social care.
I'm pretty sure we've already got
And ensuring
a
that
single
cash
set
goes
of
to
like
the front
medical
line,
records.
not on needless bureaucracy. When I stood
What?
on the steps
Oh, we've got the seals. Well, they're going to see Michael Gove clapping weirdly.
When I stood on the steps of Downing Street, I promised to fix this crisis. And after decades of drift and dither, this
And it's still not.
reforming government, this can-do government, this government that got Brexit done, that's getting the COVID vaccine rollout done, is going to get social care
They've got
done.
Brexit
And
done.
we're going to
We've got
deal
to
with the
direct
biggest
the country.
underlying issues of our economy and society, the problems that no government has had the guts to tackle before. And I mean the long-term structural weaknesses in the UK economy.
They've not done
It's
nothing.
thanks to the vaccine rollout that we now have the most open economy and the fastest growth in the
What?
G7. We have unemployment.
What you just said about growth there, that is a total misnomer. Growth is only high at the moment because everything's just reopened from the pandemic and everything's getting back to how it was. There's no real growth. Like ONS have shown this.
After years of stagnation, more than a decade, wages are going up faster than before the pandemic.
I like that he's trying to say more than a decade, as if it's not the 10 years of Tory rule that's wrecked everything.
That has been long overdue in the UK economy. We're not going back to the same old broken model with low wages, low growth, low skills, and low productivity.
How are you going to do this?
Enabled and assisted by uncontrolled immigration. And the answer to the present
he is all over the shop with this speech.
Which are mainly a function of growth and economic revival, is not to reach for that same old lever of uncontrolled immigration.
He just said that.
Wages low. The answer is to control immigration, to allow people of talent to come to this country, but not to use immigration as an excuse for failure to invest in people, in skills.
Why is he blaming immigration on, like, this is just insane. Like, controlled immigration's always been controlled. We could have controlled, like, here's the thing, we could have controlled immigration within the EU. We just didn't use the levers that were there.
An example entirely at random with basic facilities where you don't have to urinate in
truck stops.
And that is the direction.
So it's not need to pee in bushes, truck stops.
Going now towards a high wage, high skill,
I can't believe he just said drivers are peeing in bushes. Like what?
That is what the people of this country need and
low
deserve.
Tax economy. He's literally putting tax up. He's putting tax up. They've already announced that tax is going up.
In which everyone
there's the monopoly man himself.
Take pride in their work and in the quality of their work. And yes, it will take time. And sometimes it will be difficult. But that was the change that people voted for in 2016. And that was the change
that was 5 years ago, mate. 5 years ago. Nothing's changed.
And to deliver that change, we will get on with our job of uniting and levelling up across the UK.
Well,
the greatest project that any government can embark on. We have one of the most imbalanced societies and lopsided economies of all the richer countries.
Absolutely true.
It's not just that there's a gap between London and the southeast and the rest of the country. There are aching gaps within the regions themselves.
I can't wait for him to say that Scotland's the big problem.
What glands are they applying in Ribble Valley? What royal jelly are they eating that they live 7 years longer than the people of Blackpool, only 33 miles away?
Blackpool's got one of the highest suicide rates in all the UK. I lived there. It's mental.
That is not just a question of social justice. It is an appalling waste of potential. And it is holding this country back.
Sounds pretty nasty. Man, that was a strange look she was given there. That was a very strange look.
Because there is no reason why the inhabitants of one part of the country should be geographically fated to be poorer than others. Or why people should feel they have to move away from their loved ones or communities to reach their potential.
Well, that is exactly what it's like at the moment.
Stood in that country churchyard in 1750.
Who?
And
Thomas Gray?
Elegy as the curfew tolled the knell of parting day.
What is he on about?
He lamented the wasted talents of those buried around him, the flowers born to blush unseen, the mute inglorious Miltons.
What the hell's a Milton?
Because they never got to read. The simple folk who died illiterate and innumerate, and he knew that that was an injustice. Let me ask you, maybe you know, where was he standing when he chewed his pensive quill?
What pensive?
Correct, he was standing, thank you. He was standing
Ask the audience.
In Stoke Poges.
What the hell is he
friends,
on about?
There may be many underprivileged parts of our country, but Stoke Poges is not now among them.
Stoke Poges?
In fact, it was only recently determined by the Daily Telegraph, you can't believe that, what can you believe, my friends, to be the eighth
Oh my God.
richest village in
Shout
England.
out to the propaganda
Since Grey
rags.
energised, Buckinghamshire has levelled up to be among the most productive regions in the whole of Europe.
That's because all the rich people live there. Like what?
But they are overwhelmingly caused by the sheer lust of other people to live in
Who wrote this
Stoke
shit?
Poges.
Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but who
Overcrowded
wrote this?
trains,
What?
endless commutes, too little time with the kids, the constant anxiety that your immemorial view of chalk downland is going to be desecrated by ugly new homes. And that is why...
So we're not
levelling up
building new
works
homes.
for the whole country, and it is the right and responsible policy because it helps to take the pressure off parts of the overheating southeast, while simultaneously
I can't believe this.
offering
This is
hope
bizarre.
and opportunity to those areas that have felt left behind. And let's be clear that there is a huge philosophical difference between us and Labour, because in their
now he's
souls,
blaming Labour.
they don't like levelling up. They don't like levelling up. They like levelling down.
Levelling down. Levelling.
They do.
How do you level down? The 10 years of Tory rule has literally levelled this country down. Like, the country's in the worst state it's been in decades.
They like decapitating the tall poppies and taxing the rich till the pips squeak.
Decapitating They like decapitating poppies.
And in Islington, I kid you not, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Oh, it's like
they like kids to run races. I've seen this, where nobody actually wins.
Oh, that was a dig at Corbyn, by the way.
I don't think that is a good preparation.
Because Corbyn is the Islington MP.
For the Olympic Games.
What the hell? I'd have to get an anti-Corbyn jibe in there, even though he's not been Labour Party leader even though he's not even a member of the Labour Party anymore.
And if you insist on the economic theory behind levelling up, it's contained in the inside of Vilfredo Pareto, a 19th century Italian figure who floated from the cobwebbed attic of my memories. There are all kinds of
cobweb attic of his memory.
Lives, he said, without diminishing everyone else. Rishi will, I'm sure, confirm this. We call these
Rishi's going to confirm it.
Improvement.
He doesn't have a clue what he's on about either.
They are the means of levelling up. And the idea in a nutshell is that you will find talent, genius, flair, imagination, enthusiasm everywhere in this country, all of them evenly distributed. So I'm going to get a media job in Aberdeen, yeah? Okay. To promote opportunity with every tool we have.
He is a
tool. It's still a grim fact that in this country...
What the hell am I watching? This is bizarre. This is really bizarre. Like...
That's right. It's all about opportunity.
Get out of the shot.
It's still a grim fact that in this country, some
cameramen everywhere.
In neighbourhoods that are much safer than others. And some will be, as Pretty was saying, some will be sucked into gangs, some will be at risk of stabbing and shooting, some will get themselves caught in the one-way ratchet of the criminal justice system. Many others will not. And that's why levelling up means fighting crime, putting more police on the beat.
He is all over the shop with this speech. He's like, he can't stay on one topic for more than 30 seconds.
Drugs networks, as we are.
Drugs networks.
Of them gone already. Giving the police the powers they need to fight these dealers.
Oh, we're on about the police. We're going to talk about how corrupt the police are. How they're...
What's Labour's answer, by the way? To decriminalise hard drugs, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
To let the gangsters off with a caution. An answer that is
That's
straight
not
from the powder rooms
that is
of
total
North London
fiction.
dinner parties and nothing to do with the real
That is
needs
total
of
fiction,
this
what he
country.
just said there. No one's trying to decriminalise people running drugs gangs. They're trying to decriminalise drug use. Like, so drug use is not a criminal thing. Like, that's the only way you're going to fight drugs, is by stopping to treat people using drugs as criminals.
Crime has been falling.
That's because no one's been leaving their house.
The precaution of locking up the public for much of the last 18 months. But because you have a Conservative government that understands the broken windows theory of fighting crime.
The broken windows theory. The hell's this gone? I'm all ears.
Pet theft. Well, I say to Cruella de Vil QC, if you can steal a dog or a cat, then there is frankly no limit to your depravity. And you know...
What? Did he just call Keir Starmer Cruella de Vil QC? Like, is he saying that he steals dogs? Did he just say Keir Starmer steals dogs?
There's people gluing themselves to roads.
Oh, here
I
we
don't
go.
call them legitimate protesters, like some Labour councillors do. I think some Labour councillors actually glue themselves to roads. I say they're a confounded nuisance who are blocking ambulances, stopping people going about their daily lives.
I mean, there's a ring of truth in that, but I don't understand how he's had to get to this point in such a weird way.
And I'm glad Pretty is taking new powers.
She shouldn't be getting any new powers.
Snugly in prison where they belong.
Oh, look at her cheesy grin. Whoa, man. So cheesy. That's terrible.
What I find most incredible of all was the decision by Labour, now led by lefty Islington lawyers, to vote...
Did he just call Keir Starmer a lefty? He's literally purged the left from the party. Like, what the hell?
And on behalf of the entire government, I tell you this. We will not rest until we have increased the successful prosecutions for rape. Because
Okay,
too many...
Again, it's a good point. I don't understand how he's had to get to it in such a weird way. I don't understand why he's had to diss Keir Starmer to get to this point. But
bullying, cowardly men are using the law's delay to get away with violence against
and
women.
some of them are police officers.
And we will not stand for it.
Some of them are police officers. Like, are we going to talk about how it's police officers at the moment who are getting the most publicity for this?
Who tell us that we are, that we're being ungenerous and unfeeling in our attempts to control our borders. And I say, don't give me that. This is the government that stood up to China and announced that we would provide a haven for British overseas nationals.
We're barely standing up to China. Come on.
Have already applied, and I'm proud to be part.
If he thinks that's standing up to China, then he's off his nut. He's even more crazy than he looks.
20,000 Afghans, people who risk their lives to guide and translate for us. We are doing the right and responsible thing. And speaking as the great-grandson of a Turk who fled in fear of his life, I know that this country is a beacon of light and hope for people around the world, provided they come here legally. Provided we understand who they
We're in a
are,
beacon of hope, but they've got to come here. They've got to fill in the forms before they get here.
We took back control of our borders and will pass the Borders Bill because we believe there
The
must
Borders
be a
Bill, oh
distinction
my God.
between someone who comes here legally and someone who doesn't. And
Like,
I have every sympathy.
what
with
he's
people
saying now
genuinely in fear
is
of their lives. I have no
totally
sympathy whatever
ignoring
with the people traffickers
global
who take
laws
thousands of pounds
on
to send children
people
to
claiming
sea in
asylum.
frail
Like, you
and
can't claim
dangerous
asylum in a
craft.
country
And we
unless you
must
get to
end
the
this
country in
legal
some way,
frame.
normally
We must break
illegally.
the
Like,
gangsters' business model.
now he's saying that people trying to get asylum here are being run by gangsters.
Is it not a sublime irony?
Bloody hell.
Is it not a sublime irony that even in French politics there is now a leading centre-right politician calling for a referendum on the EU?
Is there?
Who is now calling for France to reprendre le contrôle? It's good old Michel Barnier.
Is he?
That's what happens.
Did he just say Michel
That's what
Barnier is
happens
trying
if
to
you
get
spend
out of the
a year
EU?
trying to argue
I
with
don't
Lord
think so.
Frost, the greatest Frost since the Great Frost of 1709. And
What?
we will fight.
They're all laughing.
gangs
Like,
at home and abroad
this is a
because
comedy
their victims
routine,
are
this.
invariably the poorest and the neediest. And I'll tell you what levelling
There's
up
like
is.
zero seriousness
A
in
few
this
years
speech.
ago,
It's just
They
ridiculous.
started a school not far from the Olympic Park, a new school anyone could send their kids to, in an area that for decades has been one of the most disadvantaged in London. That school is Brampton Manor Academy, and it now sends more kids to Oxbridge than Eton. And if you want proof of what I mean by unleashing...
Oh, that's a good thing.
And by levelling up...
We're bigging
look
up
at
schools that
Brampton
send
Manor.
kids
And
to
we
the
can do
Oxbridge
it.
systems.
There is absolutely no
What
reason
the
why
hell?
the kids of this country should lag behind, or why so many should be unable to read
This
or write
guy's an
or do
idiot,
basic
man.
mathematics
What the hell?
At 11. And to level up, on top of the extra 14 billion we're putting into
Level up.
education, on top of the increase that means every teacher starts with a salary of £30,000, we're announcing today a levelling up premium of up to £3,000 to send the best maths and science teachers to the places that need them most. And above all,
Whoa, what? So he's just said that if there's a good teacher in a school, they're going to pay them money to go to the upper class schools. What a joke. How's the country supposed to level up when you're sending all the best teachers to the rich schools? What the hell?
They're one of the great glories.
This is insane.
But we all know.
How is that leveling up?
Brilliant and imaginative and creative
That's
people
just keeping
in
the upper
Britain, some of
class
the
upper
paid
class.
People in Britain did not go to university. And to level up, you need to give people the options, the skills that are right for them. And to make the most of those skills and knowledge, you need urgently to plug all the other gaps in the infrastructure that are still holding people and communities back. As I've been saying over this wonderful conference to you, when I became leader of this party, there were only, can you remember, what percentage of
he's
households
forgot.
had gigabit broadband when you were so kind as to make me leader? 7. You've been paying attention.
Oh, he's forgot. He doesn't even have... I can't believe he's
only
making a point and he
7%,
doesn't have the
absolutely right.
facts
And
with
what
him.
will it be by the new year? Actually, I'm
doesn't-
told now it's 68%
Oh, you don't-
by the new year. And thanks to Rishi's...
What the hell?
Thanks to Rishi's super deduction, the pace is now accelerating massively as companies thrust the
Super
fibre optic vermicelli in the most hard-to-reach places. It's wonderful. For years...
Why is he making so much bad jokes? I can't believe people are laughing at these jokes.
He is nothing but a humble crofter on the Isle of Skye.
Oh, no, wherever we go.
We have fibre optic broadband of a very high quality. We can inspect the library, or is it perhaps the billiard room of Ian Blackford's croft? And that is levelling up in action.
So having pops at Ian Blackford now.
My friends...
I mean, I believe he's a crofter, but he was also a lawyer, I believe. So, I mean, it's not like he's poor.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough just to rely on Zoom. After decades of duck decisions, our national infrastructure is way behind some of our key competitors. It's a disgrace that you still can't swiftly cross the Pennines by rail. A disgrace that Leeds is the largest city in Europe with no proper metro system. A waste of human potential that so many places are not served by decent bus routes. Transport is one of the supreme leveller uppers, and we are making the big
transport is the supreme leveller upper. Okay.
Northern powerhouse rail. We will link up the cities of the Midlands and the North. We will restore those sinews of the Union.
He's just saying things now.
The A1 north of Berwick and on into Scotland. The A75 in Scotland is so vital for the links with Northern Ireland and the rest of the country. The North Wales corridor. Yes. And we will invest in our roads.
The North Wales corridor.
Unblocking those coagulated roundabouts and steering wheel bending traffic lights with putting on 4,000 more clean, green buses made in this country, some of them running on hydrogen.
Some of them may be running on time. Hydrogen buses now.
As we come out of COVID, our towns and cities are going to be buzzing with life because we know that a productive workforce needs the spur that only comes with face-to-face meetings and water cooler gossip. If young people are to learn on the job in the way that they always have and must, we will and must see people back in the office.
This is bizarre, man. This is so bizarre.
And that is why we are building back better.
Oh, building back better.
That is why we are building back better with a once-in-a-century £640 billion programme of investment. And by making neighbourhoods safer, by putting in the gigabit broadband, by putting in the roads and the schools and the healthcare, we will enable more young people everywhere to share the dream of home ownership. The great ambition of the human race, that the left always privately share but publicly disparage. And we can do it.
Of course. How would he know the left disparage?
See how our landscape has been plotted and pieced and jigsawed together by centuries of bequests and litigation. A vast testament to security of title, trust in the law, and it's a confidence that...
So what's he doing? This is planning changes?
Investment. You see how rich this country is growing. The billions of loving and incremental improvements to homes and gardens. You can see how beautiful it is. Vast, untouched moorland, hills and broadleaf forests. We are going to rewild parts of the country.
So we're going to... He wants people to be able to buy homes, but at the same time we're rewilding, so we can't build homes.
From which they've been absent for decades. Beavers.
Beavers?
Seen on some rivers since Tudor time.
Yeah, that's in Scotland.
For their pelts.
Beavers.
And if that
Beavers.
Is conservatism, my friends, I don't know what is.
If beavers are not conservatism, I don't know what is.
Build back beaver. And though the beavers...
Beavers again. Beavers.
Though the beavers may sometimes build without local authority permission, you can also see how much room there is to build the homes that young families need in this country.
How can you do that if you're rewilding everything, mate?
Southeast, but beautiful homes on brownfield sites in places where homes...
He is a brownfield site. God damn it.
This government is helping young people to afford a home. It's been a scandal, a rebuke to all we stand for, that over the last 20 years the dream of home ownership has receded. And yet, under this government, we are turning the tide. We've not only built more homes than at any time in the last 30 years, we're helping young people onto the property.
I mean, that's such a contradiction that we're going to build all these homes, but at the same time we're going to rebuild the country. Like where are the homes going to get built?
The place is yours. And you can paint the front door any colour you like. As it happens, I can't paint my own front door any colour I like. It has to be black. But I certainly don't...
You can paint your front door, although I can't paint my front door. What a metaphor for how useless this speech is.
Too dreadful, and if the job suits your skills and your Wi-Fi is fast and reliable, I'll tell you something else. That housing in the right place and at an affordable price will add massively, not just to your general joie de vivre, but to your productivity.
The hell does joie de vivre?
That is how we solve the national productivity puzzle.
I'm surprised he's not doing this on Latin.
Housing market, by plugging in the gigabit, by putting in decent, safe bus routes and all the other transport infrastructure.
He's just saying stuff.
And investing in skills, skills, skills.
Skills, internet buses.
And that, by the way, is how we help to cut the cost of living for everyone, because housing, energy, transport are now huge parts
Energy!
of our monthly bills. And it's by fixing our broken housing market, sorting out our energy supply, more wind, more nuclear, becoming less dependent on hydrocarbons.
More nuclear is something this country needs to do big time. Well, the countries of the
We will
UK.
hold costs down and save you money, and we will make this country an even more.
I don't know how we can make energy cheaper when we've got an energy cap that rises every freaking year.
Investment in Sunderland, the Pfizer vaccine manufacturing centre that's coming to Swindon. And with these productivity gains, we will turbocharge that advantage and help businesses to start and grow everywhere. So let me come now to the punchline of my sermon on the vaccine. It was not
the punchline on this.
Not the government that made the one.
This whole thing's been a punchline.
In the alembics of the Department of Health, it was, and of course, it was Oxford University.
Is alembics a person, or is that more French?
That made it possible. Behind those vaccines are companies and shareholders, and yes, bankers.
Billionaires.
Pools of liquidity.
Making loads of money.
In the City of London.
Off vaccines.
That ensured we had a vaccine in less than a year.
Big up capitalism.
Answer, therefore, is not to attack the wealth creators, it's to encourage them, because
it's
they are responsible for the aggregate increase in the country's wealth that enables us to make those Pareto
disgusting.
And to level up.
That is disgusting.
And
so
to rub home my point.
So to make everyone richer, we've got to keep making the rich richer.
It is not just that vaccination has saved more than 120,000 lives. Vaccination has allowed us to meet like this and blessed us with such rapid growth, with wages rising fastest for those on lowest incomes. And that is
no, they haven't. That's a lie.
These vaccines have ensured that by a simple vowel mutation, jabs, jabs, jabs become jobs, jobs, jobs. The world's most effective vaccines.
That's just a buzzword.
Have saved our open society and free market economy, and it is our open society and free market economy that have produced the world's most effective vaccines. And that is the symmetry in the lesson of the COVID vaccine. Science, innovation, capitalism is vital now for the challenge that we face. Is the challenge the whole of humanity faces is now even more existential for our way of life. In just a few weeks, this country will host the summit of our generation in Glasgow, when the resolve of the world is put to the test.
And the irony is he's going to fly up in a plane
the ambition
when he could just take a train and save energy.
Stop the planet heating by more than 1.5 degrees. Well, government can't do it alone, and taxpayers certainly can't.
I mean, Britain can't do it alone. I don't think it's even possible to stop it.
Murray Firth, to see this aquatic forest of white turbines towering over the water like the redwoods of California, and you have no idea of their size.
He loves a metaphor, doesn't he?
Close. The deceptive speed of their wings, twice the diameter of the London Eye, and their tips slicing through the air at more than 100 miles an hour.
Metaphor.
And I met the young men and women, apprentices, who had moved straight across from the world of oil and gas. And they had the same excitement at working amid winds and waves and being able to see whales and dolphins from the office window.
Whales and dolphins. They don't have an office. They're working on turbines. There's no offices there.
To save the planet.
Offices are on land.
Britain to net zero by 2050. And that is the symmetry
The
represented
net zero fallacy in a nutshell. Just a political buzzword, that.
And a government taking the tough decisions to make it possible. And that's the difference between this radical and optimistic conservatism and a tired old Labour. Did you see them last week? Did you watch them last week in Brighton? Hopelessly divided, I thought they looked. Their leader like a seriously rattled bus conductor.
Okay, that is quite funny, because Keir Starmer was terrible last week. You can watch that on his channel as well, by the way. I covered that speech too.
This way and that by a Corbynista mob of sellotape spectacled sans-culottes.
Sellotape. No, is he like...
Or the skipper of a cruise liner that's been captured by Somali pirates, desperately trying to
What?
negotiate a change of course and then changing his mind. And remember Labour's performance during the pandemic.
Somali
with all the
pirates.
conviction of a damp tea towel. They refused to say that schools were safe.
I hate laughing at
They
his jokes, but the
European
anti-Starmer ones are
medicines
quite
agency
funny.
slammed
Let's
the
get that up there
brakes
while
on
we
the
can.
vaccine rollout.
Watch it.
The Labour leader attacked the vaccine task force for spending money on outreach to vaccine-hesitant minority groups when it's hard to think
I don't think he
of any
did.
better use
I think he was attacking the fact that people were making a lot of money from the vaccine rollout.
What he was talking about, but in previous.
There, man, this is insane. This speech is unhinged, like totally unhinged.
In previous national crises, Labour leaders have opted to minimise public anxiety and confusion by not trying to score cheap party political points. One thinks of
That's what he's doing here.
Michael Foot in the Falklands crisis. And sadly, that was not the approach taken by Captain Hindsight, attacking one week, rowing in behind it when it seemed to be working. The human weather vane, the Starmer chameleon. And in
The
his
weather
final
vane, that's
absurd
a
act of
Tony
opposition,
Benn
he decided to oppose
quote
step
that.
four. He opposed
Interesting
step
he's using
4 of
that.
the roadmap in July, remember? That's right, folks. If we listened to Captain Hindsight today, we'd still be in lockdown. We wouldn't have the fastest growth in the G7. If Columbus had listened to Captain Hindsight, he'd be famous for having discovered Tenerife. How utterly
It's like
astonishing.
another insane metaphor there. We've had Somali pirates,
How utterly
Columbus.
astonishing. How utterly astonishing that in the last few weeks Labour should actually have voted against the funding we're putting forward for the NHS. And we need to remember how and why we've been able to back people through this pandemic at all. It was because we Conservatives fixed the economy. We repaired the damage that Labour left behind. Every Labour government has left office with unemployment higher than when it came in, every single one.
That was like nearly 11 years ago when Labour were last in power, and since then things have got consistently worse because of 10 years of Conservative rule.
Freedoms to accelerate the vaccine rollout, we're going to use Brexit freedoms to do things
Brexit freedoms?
The Borders Bill,
Brexit freedoms by stopping freedom of movement. Another insane contradiction. Now, there's been no mention of a minimum wage today, by the way.
Super fertilised loam, in which business will be able to plant new jobs across the UK. And now
Super
we're going to go
fertilised
further.
loam.
Not only jettisoning EU rules we don't need anymore, but using new freedoms to improve the way we regulate in the great growth areas of the 21st
Okay,
century.
how are you doing
to
that?
fulfill our ambition of becoming a science superpower. Gene editing, data management, AI, cyber, quantum, and we're going to be ever more global in our outlook.
Quantum. I'm surprised he's not mentioned fusion energy.
Deals, including that great free trade deal with our friends in the EU, which they all said was impossible. And
We don't have a free trade deal with people in the EU.
Bewildering refusal.
That's a total lie.
We have persuaded the Americans to import prime British beef. A market.
The Americans don't need beef.
£66 million. Build back burger, I say. And how
Build
you ask
back
yourself,
burger.
how have the Americans been able to survive without British beef for so long? If you want
Well, it's
to
'cause they've got massive-
global Britain in action.
I can't believe this.
Daring and brilliant. that
America's
we
got such a massive beef market.
remained
It's
in the
ridiculous.
EU. I give you AUKUS. AUKUS. An idea so transparently right.
What?
An idea so transparently right that Labour conference voted overwhelmingly against it. And I know there has been a certain raucous caucus from the anti-AUKUS caucus. But AUKUS is simply a recognition of
We've gone all
reality that
Dr.
the world
Seuss
is
now.
tilting on its axis, on its economic axis. And our trade and relations in the Indo-Pacific region are becoming more vital than ever before. And that's why we
I can't believe
sent
that
our military
we're
strike group to
he's
the Far East,
bigging up the
forming
fact that we're
a
selling
new
Americans
40
beef when
friendly
they probably
countries,
make more
HMS
beef
Queen
than
Elizabeth,
anywhere else in the
as long as
world.
the entire palace
They
of
don't need
Westminster.
British beef.
And rather more compelling as an argument than many of the speeches made in the House of Commons.
Like America have got
dozens of
countries that
F-35s
got
on
states
board
that create beef that are bigger than the
66,000
UK.
sausages.
Like
And
they don't
not
need
because we
our
want to threaten anyone or be adversarial to anyone, either with the F-35s or indeed the sausages, but because we want to.
F-35s.
F-35s,
F-35s, American jets, by the way, American made by
freedom
Lockheed
of
Martin.
navigation and free trade. And that's what brings AUKUS together. Australia, UK, US, shared values, a shared belief in democracy and human rights, a shared belief in the equal dignity and worth of every human being.
What the hell?
Very few countries.
I'm speechless at the moment. This is like
airlift. An astonishing feat by our brave armed
Oh,
forces.
we're back to Afghanistan
Even
airlift.
fewer.
Like, okay. I expected this to be crazy, but not this crazy. God, what the hell? This is just mental. I'm surprised Priti Patel's happy about that we let people in the country.
Even fewer have the same moral priorities. No other government brokered a deal such as this government did with AstraZeneca, so that the Oxford vaccine has been distributed at cost around the world. More than 1 billion low-cost vaccines invented in Britain, saving millions of lives.
AstraZeneca vaccine that they won't give to young people.
We stand for. And we should never forget that people around the world admire this country for its history and traditions. And
do they?
I
don't think they do.
Architecture and
The UK is a joke, a global joke at the moment.
And all the rest of it. The chance of meeting the Michael in the disco, but they like it. It emerges organically. The way all that emerges organically from a vast inherited conglomerate of culture and tradition. And we Conservatives understand the need for both and how each nourishes the other. And we attack and deny our history at our peril. When they began to attack Churchill as a racist,
he is a racist. Churchill was a racist.
20 years ago, since BBC audiences overwhelmingly voted him the greatest Briton of all time.
Churchill was a racist. That's the fact. We know this. This is well documented. He's obviously talking about people attacking statues just now.
He helped to defeat a regime, after all.
Doesn't mean to say he wasn't racist.
After all, that was defined by one of the most vicious racisms the world has ever seen. But as time has gone by, it's become clear to me that this isn't just a joke. They really do want to rewrite our
Hey Ross, how's it going? Yeah,
story,
this is bizarre. I am absolutely speechless.
we really are at risk of a kind of know-nothing cancel culture iconoclasm.
Oh, we're attacking cancel culture now.
So we Conservatives will defend our history and cultural inheritance, not because we're
defend history. They won't defend the poor, but they'll defend statues of Winston, the racist Churchill. Like, what the heck?
Not because we're proud of everything, but because trying to edit it now is as dishonest as a celebrity trying furtively to change his entry in Wikipedia. And it's a betrayal of our children's education. Churchill's last words to his cabinet, actually his whole ministers, but never mind, his cabinet were there, never be separated from the Americans. Pretty good advice, I think you'll agree. And he ended with the observation,
What did he say?
Is spirit.
What did he say? Is that man is spirit?
I believe
Profound.
Through history and accident, this country has
Man
a
is spirit.
unique spirit. The spirit of the NHS nurses and the entrepreneurs, whose innovative flair means that there are 3 countries in the world that have produced more than 100 unicorns. You know what I mean by unicorn? It's not a mythical beast. It's a tech company worth more than $1 billion each. And those 3 countries,
Another
been paying attention,
pop to the big
they are the United
billionaires
States,
in the world.
China, and the United Kingdom. And those unicorns...
So what? I thought, what are we talking about? Unicorn businesses are mythical beasts. Like, what the hell what is he on about?
Those unicorns are now dispersed around the United Kingdom in a way that is new to our country. It's fantastic to see that levelling up.
It's
And
not
we need
levelling
the
up.
spirit of the NHS nurses and the entrepreneurs, because each enables the other. And I mean the spirit of the footballers who took England into the final of a major knockout tournament.
Oh,
For the
now he's
first
taking
time in
credit
their
for the
lives,
football.
The vast majority of the people of this
Yeah, and they
country.
lost. Sorry.
Probably,
Sorry to my English
looking
viewers.
around at
They did
you
lose,
young
though.
thrusters, the majority of the people in this room. The indomitable spirit of Emma Raducanu, her grace and her mental
Oh,
resilience.
Emma Raducanu, who was an immigrant to the
when
UK,
the game was going against
but they're
her.
attacking
Because
immigrants.
that is what counts. The spirit of our Olympians. It's an incredible thing to come yet again
Yeah,
to the top.
and most
four
of these people came to the
formidable
UK
effort for
via
a country
immigration.
That has only 0.8%
Yeah, he's attacking it.
of the world's population, in spite, Jacob, of all our best efforts.
In spite of Jacob. In spite of... What's in spite of Jacob?
But when we come second...
Why can't he finish a
But when
point?
we come second, but the point is that when we come second in the Paralympics as well,
Second in the Paralympics as well. So what he's saying
That
is that
shows
the
our
UK, the Britain
values.
has came second in everything.
Not only
This is not a great rhetorical point,
but
this.
a country that is proud
We've came
to be a
second in
trailblazer,
everything.
to judge people not by where
What?
they come from, but by their spirit and by what is inside them. That is the spirit.
Did he just say we're not
same
judging people
across
from
this
where they
country.
come from? Although
Every
earlier
town
we said we're
and village and
ending
city that can be
people
found
coming to the
in
UK.
hearts and minds of kids
Oh.
growing up everywhere.
So
And
much
that is the
contradiction
spirit
in this
we are
speech.
going to unleash.
And he is finished. Thank goodness for that. So, thankfully, it wasn't an hour and a half like Keir Starmer's speech. Well, there is a lot to unpack from this. There is a lot to unpack. Oh my God. I mean, he opened talking about theatres and nightclubs being open. He made a joke about Michael Gove going to a nightclub to prove things are okay. He called him John Bon Govey, which is quite funny because Gove's relatives in Aberdeen, a few of them have the name, they're known as Govey, which is pretty funny. So I liked that. That was a funny reference actually, which no one will get unless you're from Aberdeen. But John Bon Govey is not the best reference. I mean, Ross, it was better than it was better than his speech, but my God, like, this was a comedy routine. This felt like a comedy routine, you know? Like, so let me get to the camera. Yeah, this speech felt like a comedy routine. The only, like, he mentioned how the UK is in, like, 2 trillion of debt. I don't know why he felt the need to mention that. We spoke about beavers. Beavers. He mentioned beavers, like, 6 times. It was, like, his word of the day. He said the only thing that he actually said we're going to invest in, he said we're going to invest 648 billion. He wants to level up skills, internet and buses. And then he made the really, really strange claim that to level the country up, he's going to take all the best teachers, give them a $3,000 bonus if they move to the best schools in the south of England, so they can put kids to Oxbridge universities. Like, what the hell? This was insane. This was actually... It was like a non-stop joke. It was like a political comedy routine. He just kept making metaphor after metaphor after metaphor. Of course, he attacked the Labour Party, which was interestingly, he never attacked SNP. He had a few dunks on Ian Blackford, but he never even spoke about Scotland. He never spoke about the SNP, which I'm surprised about. So yeah, that was that. If you've watched this, thanks for sticking about. Thanks for watching this. Check in the bio. I've got a link to my latest video, the Starmer fallacy. You can find that on my political channel, which I've relaunched. Subscribe to that. In the future, starting next week, Prime Minister's Questions Live is going to be back. I'm going to be doing Prime Minister's Questions again because I've got the time. I can do it. Subscribe to the new political channel because my plan is to put Prime Minister's Questions on the Steve Smith Politics channel. I'm trying to separate the two. I don't know if it's going to... I'm going to experiment with it a while, see if I can take this off the ground. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to wait to boil my head in a pan of soup for a while to try and get over this because I am just blown away by what I just heard. Beavers.